country woman. She got the moon in her eye.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. If you listened to our last podcast, it was a really good one. It was an hour long, but it cut off abruptly because we had a time limit. But we were talking about manifestation, and I feel like that's honestly an trend kind of thing going on. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everyone's kind of into that right now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't know how to necessarily do it. Maybe you need some tips and pointers because it can be tricky. It's simple, but it's also tricky at the same time.
It's almost so easy, it's hard.
It's tedious.
That's how I feel.
It's kind of tedious.
So I kind of want to start with each of us talking about our introduction into. Is it really good?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also drinking wine.
we're wine testing the new wines we bought.
But I want to talk about introduction.
Oh, that is so good. Sorry. It's very hard to have good rosé that's not that sweet.
Jeez,
that is really good. No,
and that's so good.
That's wow.
It's almost like vinegary.
Yeah, I kind of feel rich right now, famous. I kind of feel like this is what you have at wineries,
this is really good.
Wine tasting. And here's the Josh blend.
So I do love Josh. I'm in love with Josh.
That's good. That is so good. Yeah. We're drinking Josh wine right now.
Josh Cellars.
Right rosé. Before we had, what's that one called? We had this Korean Spirit. Right? Spirit?
Yeah, it's a Spirit, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Wait, let me get it. Because it's Korean.
It was plum. It's plum flavored. And,
Jinro.
Yeah, Jinro.
Yeah. I don't know. It's 13% and it's imported.
It's really good. It was sweet. More it was kind of dangerous, not gonna lie.
It was.
If we had more of that would be crazy.
Oh my god, but I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
This
is
really
so good. It's so smooth.
It's
it literally also says this is exactly what it tastes like. It's crisp, refreshing, and bright, light with flavors of white peach and strawberry and scents of nectarine. This wine is perfect for sunsets and summer days. I really feel that.
It's really giving that.
I really feel that. Wow.
That's nice.
And now I'm wishing it was warm out, but it's middle of winter.
Rip.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about how we kind of got, I mean, I don't even remember honestly, but kind of introduction to manifestation, what you thought it was versus what it ended up being, or if you found any misconceptions with it. What do you think?
I would say, so it's tricky, but I've always had the mindset money comes, money goes. That was it was something it was something to me that always forever it was just money comes, money goes, and it was if I want to do something spur of the moment or go on a trip, I will just do it. If my friends are hey, let's go on this trip, and I actually, if I have the money for it in my savings or whatever, I'll just do it. A lot of people really don't have that mindset. They're no, I gotta keep saving and saving, which is fine. But what if you died next week? You know what I mean? And no one really I used to get my parents would always be oh, stop it, you're not gonna die next week. And it's no, but you don't know. And it's also you need to live you're going to die any second.
Yeah.
I always am just oh, cool, you guys all want to go to a concert, let's fucking go. There's just, I don't know, you want to go on a trip, let's go, because maybe the time is now. You know?
Yeah.
So that's not, I don't think that's necessarily manifestation, but that's a good mindset with me, just always being no matter what, I know money will always be there.
Yeah.
It just will. In my mind, there's always side gigs you can do. There's always just ways to make money. Somehow, it just always comes. I don't know, it just...
It does. And I would say for me, manifestation kind of came... It came when I was getting into witchcraft and stuff like that. So I was kind of learning what the difference is and how to use energy around me, how to transform energy around me. And I very much agree with it's a mindset thing. What I think one huge thing that most people don't understand about manifestation is that we are doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something you just sit. I mean, you can sit down and like try and manifest something, but you are constantly manifesting all the time. So like that's the whole like where people like find something on TikTok, like the 369 whatever the fuck, and they do that and they're like, Josh loves me. Josh Wine Cellars loves me. But they're like, Josh loves me. But then right after they're like, why would he love me? Like,
see, I know.
Or like I get great grades, but then they don't do their homework. Like,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it's like manifestation is not like, it's weird because it is like a hack and like a cheat code, but it's not in the way that people are thinking it is, where you can literally just like write it down once. You have to embody it. You have to believe it, and you have to live it like 24/7, because you are constantly manifesting. So if you sit down for like, if you're, oh my God, this is so out of bounds, but I have no other like fucking example. But like, if you're like a shitty worker, right, and you show up late all the fucking time, and then you're just like, okay, like, I gotta convince them I'm a good worker. So you sit down for 5 minutes and you tell them, like, I'm a good worker. Like, I will be here for you and I will pick up shifts. But they have not seen that. And then right after you, like, leave your shift early or something. I don't know. That's so stupid. But, like, example-wise, sitting down for 5 minutes and telling them that is not going to change it. Believing it is changing it. So when people, like, have these methods for manifestation, that's not me saying the methods are bullshit. But it's saying the methods are like tools to use to help you embody it.
Yes.
And it might not work for everybody. Like, for example, I don't feel like writing something like the 369 method, or like writing something down like 10 times. I feel like that would almost like drive me farther from it, because it just feels so like whatever. But for some people that works. Sometimes you need to write it down 10 times in order to believe it. So it's a method, it's a vehicle to use to like get to your state of being, because manifestation is like almost like a state of being, which is it's a vibrational, like, you need to feel that. So if you're not feeling it but you're doing the manifestations and you're like, why isn't this working, like, that's why. Like,
instead of writing it, I like to speak it into existence. I feel like that helps more. I feel like it gets it out there better, because I feel like the universe is always listening, rather than kind of seeing what you're writing. I feel like the writing's just more so you can keep in check on what you're trying to, like, manifest. Is that, or whatever.
Like, your only method of manifestation?
No, it's not my only method, I want to ask your favorite. But it's my favorite. I have favorites. It's literally my favorite, because I feel like if I just, like, speak it. Okay, so what I like to do is when I speak it, then I like to also picture it happening. Yeah. And feel it.
Visualization.
Do you ever? Okay. I want to know if this happens to you or not, or if it's just me, or if I'm just weird. But when I speak it enough times, and then I picture it, and I'm convincing my brain, my body starts to feel high, and I start to feel
that's like that shit right there. No, I'm telling you guys right now, like, the people who are like, I tried this method and it didn't work for me. Like, I'm like, you have not given yourself the luxury of playing pretend. Like, be a kid again and get into it, because, like, it is so fun almost even. Yeah. Even if like, it were to never happen, like, whatever, but, like, if you were to sitting there and, like, visualizing and like,
feel how it
would feel to be where you want to be, and not seeing it as something so far off in the distance, but something that's, like, right here, right now, is so important.
So it's
going to change it. My favorite way to manifest.
Does that happen to you though, or no?
Yeah, no, it
like,
does.
I'll feel
the
it
vibe,
so
like,
deeply. Like, I'll be
and
like,
it happens to me more when I do the gratitude work first, which is something we talked about in the last one. But, like, putting yourself in a place of, like, gratitude right before you manifest is super important, because it helps you get into the mindset of, like, I already have all this. Yeah. You know, when you can think of, like, 20 things to be grateful for within, like, 5 minutes, you're already in the mindset of, like, oh shit, I have this and this, I have a TV, I have a car, like, I'm chilling, I have great friends. You're like, wait a minute, like, I have a lot. So you're almost like, the thing that you want now is like, well, why wouldn't I have that? Like, I always think of, like, well, why wouldn't that happen to me? Like, why wouldn't, you know what I mean? So it's like to get yourself in that vibe. But my favorite way to manifest, because I'm so connected to like music, is music.
Yeah.
And I make a lot of different playlists, and I just kind of like listen to them and I embody them. I
you
think
feel
of,
yourself with music too.
I
You're like,
I do.
I'm feeling myself.
I have a money manifest playlist. I have a playlist called Fuck I'm Hot, and the picture of the playlist, like the head picture of the playlist, is a picture of my ass.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like I'm in the shits, you know what I mean? So it's like when I'm listening to it, I'm not like, okay, I will be hot after I listen to this. It's like I am hot. That's why I'm listening to it. Like I think the whole thing is like a lot of people, like I see so many, it's like the tiniest little irk that I get when I see and it's just like people don't know. So I'm not like mad at people, but like when people are like, oh, I want to manifest something, we will make a lot of money. And I'm like, no, we have a lot of money. Like we have a lot of money.
I already have a lot of money.
Like we don't even need, we're so abundant, we don't even need people to give us money because we have so fucking much of it. Like it just keeps fucking coming.
We're giving you guys a hack right now.
No, literally, I'm doing it like right now. Like it's one of those things where it's like when you say it with your full fucking chest and believe it, and you might not believe it the first couple times, so it might just be hard. It's one of those things, but like after a while it just becomes like
you actually have to be so specific because like if not, like it's so I was watching a video where it was like you have to be so specific with like your words on like what you want. Like I can't remember exactly the video, but it was something like $1 million versus like $1 billion. Like you have to be specific with what you want, because I forget, the video was something like if you say something a little bit wrong, the universe might be like, okay, we'll give you this, and then you're like, wait, but that's not exactly
I have an example of that. I have an example of that. And also with the whole like $1 million and $1 billion thing too, I think a lot of people manifest things that they don't believe could ever happen.
Right.
And it's like, if you don't believe it could ever happen, then you shouldn't be manifesting it.
Right.
And it's not going to manifest for you because you don't believe it. So for example, when I am in my everyday life, I'm not saying like I'm going to be a millionaire. And that's not to say I couldn't be. It would probably be hard. That's not to say it couldn't be, but I'm just saying that's not what I manifest when I like think about money. I just think about being abundant and not having to worry about it.
Yeah.
At all, because it's like I'm not trying to reach a certain dollar amount. That's like just me personally, but a lot of people will be like, oh, well, if manifestation is just like you think about it and it happens, then I'm a millionaire. And then they're like, well, it didn't happen. And it's like, well, that's not how that fucking works. Like, are you doing anything to become a fucking millionaire? Like, you have to be doing the work in the background. This is not like an actual fucking video game. Right. You can just like say shit and it happens. But my example is, for example, I generally manifest money, like very generally.
Yeah.
So it comes to me in whatever ways, and sometimes it comes to me in ways I don't like. For example, I might have like 4 shifts one week and I manifest, or even if I'm just like always manifesting, or I just put on my manifestation playlist, listen to a song about money, think about it. All of a sudden, the next week, I have, like, 7 fucking shifts. I don't fucking want half of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, like, fuck, now I gotta, like, try to get these covered. But I'm also like, this is what I was asking for. Like, I kind of do need this money. Like, this is nice, too. So it's like, yeah, you do have to think about that. Like, it is not always gonna come to you in this miraculous, like, I wrote down that I was going to get $100 and my great uncle 3 times removed, like, sent me an email with, like, a link that was going to give me $100. Like, that's not how it's going to happen. Like, sometimes you have to work for it. You'll still get the money, but sometimes it's going to be, like, in an unconventional way. Sometimes it'll be easy, too, but,
Sometimes it's easy, yeah.
Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes, my thing with manifestation, I have that whole story that I needed to, I feel like it's like the biggest thing that ever happened to me with manifestation was when I manifested a rainbow. And that I found this girl online. I forget her fucking name. I want to look it up so I can like say it, but whatever. I found her online on YouTube, and she had like videos on manifestation and like how she manifests and like how to do it properly and like not the whole like quick, like, you know, in and out instant gratification thing. And she was like, I do this a lot with kids, like for practice, is to manifest a rainbow. And she like takes you through it, like a guided manifestation. Is almost like she does a visualization. And like you picture it and you set it, and she's like, now let it go. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, you just gotta wait for it. And I was like, okay. I like don't fucking know about this. And like a couple days went by and I kept being like, okay, like I don't know. And then I was at work this one time and there was like, we were kind of slow. And like throughout the week, whenever I like thought about it, I visualized the rainbow, but like I still kind of like let it go after. I just wasn't like obsessed, like where's the rainbow? Like I was never looking for the rainbow, but I just kept like visualizing. Like I was like, I know it's coming. I just have to, whatever. I was apprehensive though. I was like, I don't know, like, but like I just was like, okay, it's coming. Like I'm just gonna keep visualizing whatever. So that night at work, I actually like was writing down, like I was scripting, and I was just like, I saw the prettiest rainbow. I saw all the colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Like I wrote it down. I was like, it was gorgeous and amazing and beautiful. Right? Okay, like about an hour and a half goes by at work the same night. And I actually, like, after I wrote that down, I threw it out, like, in one of the trash cans. I literally just threw it out just because I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I was done with the paper and it was in my way. So I was like, okay, I'll throw it out. About, like, an hour and a half later, like, 2 people get cut. There's, like, less of us at the host stand. This guy, like, walks in to the restaurant and is, did you guys see the double rainbow outside? I was like, my heart dropped into my ass. I was like, you're fucking joking right now. I grabbed my, like, it was my coworker, but also my friend. I grabbed their, like, hand so fucking tight. I was like, you're coming. We ran outside, and I took a picture of the rainbow. I was like, holy fucking shit. And you texted me. You were like, did you see the rainbow? I was like, I fucking did that, bitch. I was like, I've been waiting for this shit for, like, 4 days. And it's one of those things where, like, if you start small, right? Because people get in manifestation out of, like, need and, like, want. They're like, oh, I need this. Like, start small. Be like, somebody's gonna bring me a coffee today. Right. Somebody's gonna bring me a coffee soon. Like, hot cookies, coffee. And that, too, don't put, like, a time limit on it, because then you're fucking yourself. True. Don't put a time limit on it.
Because then, like, if it doesn't happen that day, you're like, fuck.
You're like, it's never gonna happen. So just, like, say it, visualize it, believe it, and let it go, and see what the fuck happens. Because it's kind of crazy when it does happen. I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I'm still like, like, I don't know, but then every time, like, I put myself out there and actually do it, and, like, it fucking happens.
It's weird.
Like,
It's weird. Happens. I've done it with small things, with, like, people messaging me. Yeah. So if I hadn't talked to someone in a while, and, like, I would, like, speak it out loud for, like, a couple days maybe, and then they would all of a sudden, like, message me or, like, reply to my story. And I'm like, bro, we haven't talked in years. Oh, my God. I know I did that. Like, you're thinking about me.
Yeah,
like,
where you, like...
You can make someone think about you, low-key.
It's the example of how it's, like, you're doing it naturally already. Because I have a friend, too, where we talk, like, literally, like, 3 times a year. But when we talk, it's, like, no time has gone by. Every time I start thinking about her, and I'm like, oh, we need to talk soon, she ends up texting me, and then we talk, and I'm like, girl, I was just thinking about you. And she's like, girl, I was thinking about you the other day, and we realized that we were thinking about each other on the same day or something like that. You're unconsciously doing this anyway. You know, when you're like, you start, I think the best example of, like, how manifestation works that I've ever gotten was, like, you know how when you, like, see a certain type of car, or, like, you get a car, you start seeing that car everywhere. Or if, like, you start focusing on something, like, if you're, like, doing fucking, I don't know, biochem, like, something small, like, you start seeing it everywhere. Like, that's manifestation. It's the same thing. It's like, no, it's not doing anything for you, but you are manifesting it by having focus on it and seeing it all the time. It's like, yes, I'm around this thing all the time. Oh, I always see yellow cars. Okay, well, now you're always seeing yellow cars. Yeah. I always look at the clock at 4:45. Yes. I just randomly
I was just about to say, same with angel numbers. For, like, a couple of months, I was seeing the same angel numbers every single day. And then, like, one day I just, like, stopped thinking about them, and I haven't, like, seen them since. Yeah. It's just, like...
It's when you stop, it's, like, literally, what is it? What is the fucking saying with plants where it's, like, grows where energy flows? Like, something grows where energy flows. I forget. But it's, like, where you put your focus, basically, is where you see growth happen. And, like, that, I feel like that's how it is with manifestation. And a lot of people see, I I don't hate a lot of people for thinking that manifestation is stupid or unreasonable, because like outside when you look in, it looks so fucking stupid. I get it, but it's one of those things where it's like, until you try it, you just have no. And again, I'm disclaiming, like, I'm not talking about homeless people. I'm not saying, I'm not being like, well, homeless people should just like manifest a house. But like, I do believe that like they can manifest too, and I'm sure that they do a lot, because everybody's manifesting all the time. I don't think you can necessarily manifest yourself into a millionaire overnight if you're homeless. That's not what I'm saying. Or get yourself a home if you're homeless. That's not what I'm saying either. But it is like a whole shift in perspective, right? So that goes with changing who you are on the inside too. And I think that's why when people like get into witchcraft or manifestation and they get the crystals and they get out their incense, and at the end of the day they still like hate themselves, don't believe in themselves, don't believe anything good can ever happen to them, but like write it down 10 times, that why it's not working for them is because you're not working it. You gotta work it. And that's the hard part about it, is like you have to put the work in. I've had so many people come up to me and be like, because this is what I was saying earlier, where I was like, I need to save this for the podcast, but I was like, I feel like I've almost manifested being a witch too. Yeah. Because I'll just say it. Like, I say it casually, like, it's like fucking normal. So I'll be like, well, I'm a fucking witch, so. Yeah. Like, I made a lot of money tonight because I'm a fucking witch. Yeah. I'm a fucking witch. So, I say it all the time to where it's like, it's almost like an inside joke with myself, but it's also like, I believe it. Like, I believe that I have, like, power to change my perspective and change who I want to be whenever I want to do it.
I think it's so fun saying that we're witches. Because, like, people just picture the shit in movies, and I'm like, fine by me, whatever. I'm
like, little do you know, I'm literally just, like, closing my eyes. Yeah,
I know. It's like, but if you want to perceive me like that,
exactly.
Okay,
that's fine too.
I like those movies.
That's fucking fine too. It's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I've almost manifested even just being a witch, because I'm like, oh, I have power like that. And that, in and of itself, I always tell people this too. At the end of the day, if it didn't work, if it really wasn't real, if crystals didn't work, like, that's my number one example usually is crystals. I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, if you like don't believe in like the science behind crystals, like whatever, if it genuinely, like, placebo is real, okay? Yeah. Placebo is real, and there is nothing wrong with using the knowledge that placebo is real to your advantage. I feel like that almost is what manifestation is realizing that you can, like, placebo yourself. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, if I get a crystal and I'm told that this crystal is gonna make me find love, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm around this love crystal. And so you already are picturing yourself around love. And now you're like, it's a tool for manifestation, right? It's placebo effect, right? Like, oh, I saw this cute guy in the office and I never noticed him being so cute before until I got this crystal. It's like, yeah, maybe it wasn't the crystal, but it still did what it was supposed to do. You know what I mean? If you get this.
The thing about crystals that bothers me the most that people perceive, like, how do you not think that they have energy? Okay, everything
they do. Did you
in
see the
this
ice
world
things
is
that
fucking
they do?
Energy.
Where they'll put a crystal in water. I think it's in water or either under a glass of water in the freezer, and then they'll do like one that doesn't have any crystal under it, and then they'll do different ones with different crystals, and the ice forms in different ways once it freezes under certain crystals, and then the one that's by itself doesn't like have anything, or it's like it's just like different and it's weird. But they like I think like clear quartz like have these like really long like ice, and I was like, this is so interesting. And I'm like, even if it didn't have like this specific energy, because a lot of them cross over too, and I think that's because it just like they do like naturally cross over. But I think if you just tell yourself like, this crystal is going to do this for me, and actually sit and believe it, it's gonna do the thing for you because of placebo effect and
But don't be so naive in thinking that it doesn't have energy. Like, even water has fucking energy.
Everything has energy. Literally. Like, every single thing is made up of energy. Energy cannot be made or created. So it's just existing all the fucking time. And that's on science.
It's so,
that is on science.
It's really so naive of people to think that when we die, we're just dead. Like, our nothing, like, energy has to get out and go somewhere. Like,
I don't.
Sure, your corpse is dead, but like, we're literally energy inside. Exactly, isn't that? That's crazy
This is
too to
just a
think
vessel.
about, that this is just a fake,
And I keep that in mind too when the whole confidence thing comes in and I'm like, oh my god, my looks are all that matters, because that can like skew into something bad. I'm like, I'm literally just like renting this house.
Right?
Like,
I'm renting this
like
body
I'm gonna take care of it, but like it's literally not that big of a deal. Like if I have like a pudge, like if it's not that big of a deal. As long as I'm having fun.
Right.
Like, and just living my best life and not hurting anybody else, like that is what matters.
Oh, you know what another crazy thing is? Manifesting, like, have you ever manifested like interactions with like famous people? Like I've manifested like over social media. Like,
oh really?
There's been times when famous people have acknowledged me because I manifested
you know what,
and I'm
though?
like, whoa.
On lives, yes.
Whoa.
Yes. I haven't
Like,
manifested it, but I think it's like more of just like I do feel like connection. I'm like, I feel connected to you.
Yeah,
so like they
no,
do
like-
end up seeing it or like whatever and acknowledging me. I do feel like that's happened.
No, like there's
before.
been like do you know the show Survivor?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this show Survivor, and there's this character, Jesus.
Character.
There's this person that's been on there for like
Yeah.
a couple of seasons, and he's like big, and he's famous, and he's like a fan favorite, and like I've just like manifested that somehow, like he's gonna like whatever, some interaction, and he's liked one of my photos, and I was like, oh. Yeah. Wow. There it is. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
one of those things where it's like you just have to I don't know.
you just have to believe that.
My biggest
You have to thin the veil.
Thin the veil.
Thin the veil
That,
of the
I
realm
think
of
that
the famous
was
world.
one of the things that stuck with me. I forget who even like said it that I like saw online. But one of the biggest things that for manifestation that helped me was like to stop seeing things so far from me.
Yeah. Don't see that famous people are so far away.
Yeah, and
Thin that veil.
I don't know how to explain this to you if you're not somebody who like visualizes or pictures things, because I'm always picturing things in my mind. But if you are like, I don't know if you ever like think, when you think about things that you want, if they are like almost high up on a pedestal, like one day, like, you know what I mean? Physically, like imagine bringing that down to like right in front of your face. That boosted my manifestation so much. I feel like
That's
just
a good
like
tip. I'll use that.
Yeah, because it's like the littlest things. Because I would manifest stuff and still feel it, but I would see it so far.
Yeah.
So that would like throw it off a little bit. And now I would literally, I'm like, no, that's right in front of me. Like
Right.
I'm seeing it right. Because you can imagine it right in front of you, but for whatever reason, because it's like not, I guess not here yet. My brain's like, it's eventually, like someday, like, and it's like, no, like bring that shit down. Like it's not high up and far away and unattainable. Like it's right in front of you, and you're able to, get it.
Yeah, thinning the veil is huge.
Thin that.
That's like, once you realize that, you'll realize that it's not. You just have to think that it's not that far. Like, like it's because you picture like famous world in your world, like different planes, and there's like a whole like veil in between.
Realistically too, you're just
realistically they also started where we were, and that what I mean, they were once in our realm, like, so it's
I think it's a huge thing of just like I don't know, like checking yourself, and like if you try manifestation and it doesn't work for you, or if you feel like, maybe you're not doing it right, or you haven't done it right, or it's hard for you to even get in the mindset of like being grateful, or get in the mindset of feeling you already have these things, do not feel discouraged, because that's how it starts. You're going to start that way. You're literally training your brain to create a neural pathway that believes that you already have what you want. And that is hard. That is hard, and it takes time. It's not going to come easy. And that's why I say with like witch talk and like stuff like that, like it's awesome that the information's getting out there, but like at the same time, people are starting to think that it's an instant gratification type of situation, and they're not putting the work in. Like you have to put the work in. And if you don't want to, that's fine. But then don't say manifestation shit because you don't know anything about it.
Right.
Like, do your research. Right. Because I am telling you right now, I cross-check. I am somebody who is, like, super into, like, research and science and shit like that. I'm going to school for it. Like, I cross-check my references and shit like that. And I'm not saying, like, manifestation is not scientifically proven because it's not scientific, okay? I'm not saying that there are articles that say that, but I'm saying, like, I cross-check, like, people and anecdotes and shit like that. And I don't know, I take different things. I don't just look at one person's advice and, like, take that as gold. You have to try different things. Try it different ways, see what works for you, and at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for you, that's fine, but, like, don't say manifestation shit, because it's just not.
Right.
It's just not.
There is something I came across on Instagram, and I saved it. It was, like, a thread of manifestation and money. Mm-hmm. I literally have to find it and show you it, because it makes so much sense as to what... All right, hold on, I saved it. I read it and I was like, I should have sent it to you, but I read it and I was like, wow, like someone put this in really good words. It might take a minute for me to find. But... You're
good. I'm actually going to say, like, I think about manifestation almost like a mental algorithm. Because you know how when you, like, start to like things, like, you see it more on your, like, social media?
Yes.
That's exactly...
Yeah, no, it literally is like... Okay. No, it literally is like an algorithm. Okay. I'm going to read this all out. This shit was wild to me. So it says, money is kind of like a polite guest or a vampire. You have to invite it in. Inviting in money means that you want it and you're open to receiving it instead of avoiding it or acting like it's not really meant for you. Think about it from money's perspective. Are you going to want to go stay with someone who's making it pretty obvious that they are uncomfortable around you or flat out don't like you? No, money goes where it is welcome. When you consciously engage with your finances, you invite in the spirit of money. When you ask for what you need and want from a place of empowerment, you invite in the spirit of money. When you keep your house and your vibe clean and clear of dirt, you invite in the spirit of money. Inviting in money means that you have decided that you want more and that you are making space for it to arrive. True abundance comes when you understand that even if it's a bit late, you still make up the guest room and put the kettle on, expecting it to arrive any minute now. Of course, this is a nuanced and in-depth process, and one that I will be teaching in Money Medium, the whatever, it's our course. But because ultimately you invite in the spirit of money when you believe that it will come.
Send that to me.
I thought I will.
I want to talk about that because I want to talk about the what was that last part?
The one
part where it was like
that one when you keep your house
clean. I think this is like a huge reason why people aren't seeing their manifestations come to fruition, and I think it's because you don't have space for it.
Yeah. The space, yeah.
I want to say that right now because this is why...
You've decided that you want more and you're making space for it to arrive.
You need to make space for manifestations to even be able to come in fruition. If you are like, oh, this pisses me off because I feel like this is like the cheat thing that everybody does where they're like, I want instant gratification. I want a relationship so bad I'm going to manifest it. You are not going to manifest a relationship if you do not even have the space. For example, if you're somebody who's a serial monogamous who has not been alone in like years, you hop from person to person to person, and now you're alone and sad about it, and you're alone with your thoughts and sad, and you just want another relationship, and you're like, oh, I'll manifest it. You do not have space for another relationship. Mentally, you have things that you need to deal with before, and this is obviously just like an example, but like you can't go grocery shopping until you clean out your fridge.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I'm going to get all these new things. Like, there's no space for them. They can't even go in the fridge until... If your mind was a fridge and you want all these new things to come and you literally go and get them, even once you get them, you don't even have space to receive them.
Right.
So they have to stay out of the fridge, which is your mind, until you make space for it. So clean out the dirt. This is what I mean when it's like, I don't get how people like just write something down and think it's going to happen because it is a practice. And this is why I learned about manifestation through witchcraft, and witches that like told you to do your shadow work. Like ask yourself questions that are uncomfortable. Like, why did I get angry today when somebody said this to me? Why does this always make me upset? Notice patterns in yourself and call those things out, because the more you clear that like dense energy, the more you can invite what you want to invoke.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's just the biggest thing that everybody ends up ignoring is like, if you don't have space for it, you can't manifest
Right.
it.
And you won't have
Like-
you won't have space for a new relationship if you're not clearing out the old one. Like if you're still keeping that.
If you're still like, I'm not, and that's not saying you can't get one. Like you might be able to get one, but you're not, you know, most people when they're manifesting relationships, I'm assuming are manifesting like, I have the perfect boyfriend who's gonna like, whatever. Like he or whoever they are is not going to exist if you don't have, like, you're not fully, because it starts with you.
Yeah.
Because if you're not over your ex, but you're manifesting, like, a super healthy relationship, that person might come, but then you're not ready for it. And how embarrassing.
Yeah, right. Because you just manifested it, and you're
How
like, wait,
embarrassing.
I'm not ready.
Going to the grocery store and buying all these new groceries, and you can't even fit them in your fridge.
Right.
Get
The part
it fucking together. Like, clean your fucking fridge out.
The part I really liked about this was money is kind of like a polite guest or a vampire. You have to invite it in, and it says like inviting in money. No, also the part where it says think about it from money's perspective. Like, are you gonna want to go stay with someone who's making it pretty obvious that they're uncomfortable around you? Like, money goes where it's welcome.
Yeah.
Like, that's so true.
And I think
like,
I always think of it almost like a surrender.
money can be energy too, and it's not gonna go where it's not welcome.
I think of it as a surrender because I'm like, I feel like the attachment to attachment in general is something that like that's a whole other thing, but like being attached to it is again like driving you almost further away from it. Like being so attached to it. Obviously we have to be because this is just like how
the world works.
But I'm saying like mentally, like if you can at least like just take yourself away a little bit and like if you have like all these bills to pay and you don't have enough money to pay the bills yet and you're like, how am I going to get there? I think of it almost as a surrender, right? Like money's going to go, money's going to come. I might not make these deadlines, but I'm going to keep living.
Right.
And that's like life will go on even if I don't make these deadlines. Like if it's the end of the world, like what am I going to do next? I always just am kind of like in this present moment, what am I going to do next? And it's hard. It is so fucking hard. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we are saying this like it's so easy. And I think that's why a lot of people roll their eyes at it. Because they're like, it's not just like flip of the switch. But it is so hard. It is a practice. It took me years. And I'm not even like close to like some of the other people, like witches that I see. I still consider myself like, I would consider myself at most like intermediate.
Yeah.
Like, at most, like, early to intermediate. Like, and I feel like I've fully almost got an understanding of it, but don't fully know how to work it yet for myself. And have done it successfully multiple times, but also still, like, struggle with the idea. So it's hard as fuck. And I'm not saying it's, like, you guys are doing it wrong, and, like, you should just, like, believe that you have $1 million. Like, it's not that easy, but...
No, it really is not. It really does suck that it's like this whole world has made us stressed about money and like almost dependent on it and that we can't do things without it, which sucks because like the simple shit in life should be fucking free. Like
it ruins everything.
It really does. Like even down to the fact like that you have to pay to get into like a national park or like I understand, but do I like also like what like the fare, like why are we paying $10 to park on your grass? Like, you know, or like camping, like to pay for a camping spot it's like $40. It's like I'm sleeping on the ground in my tent.
And I say that all the time. I'm like, what I want out of life is so wholesome. Like I just want to go around, put on my cute little outfits, hang out with people I love, and, like, call it a day. Like, I don't need, like, a multi-million-dollar mansion. I don't even, like, crave that. Like, are they nice? Yes. If I got one for free, yes, I would live in it. I'm not saying I don't want it, but I'm just saying that's not my goal. No. I just want, like, a cute little place to stay, a fun night with friends, like...
But what I do want is money to be able to travel. Because I understand that costs money.
No,
I understand that will never be free.
Travel is, like, something I totally understand, but, like, the rest of it is just ass.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. So, like, yeah, I get it. It's not that easy. But it's definitely just... It's a change in your relationship. And, again, a change in perspective, which I've said a million times, but that is really... the point. Like, you really got to put work into it. And I know it sucks, but it's like you're not going to see anything. You're not going to see results from anything ever if you don't put work into it. Like, you have to work it.
You have to put at least
I've been
some work.
Yeah, I've
Like,
been like down on the ground. Like, I do not want to do this anymore. And like, I get it. And it's one of those things where it's like, you have to feel that, like, allow yourself to sit in it for a little bit, but you can't dwell in it because you're just not going to move forward. Like, you have to, like, find something in you, some kind of fire in you to, like, just keep going. And that's really just what life is about in general, but especially when it comes to, like, manifestation, it's just a change of perspective. I'm telling you right now, if manifestation is not real, if I didn't get anything ever from manifestation, what it has taught me is to change my perspective and see the better and see the good in things and try my hardest to notice that when shit hits the fan. Yeah. When everything around me is crumbling and I'm just like, okay, what is good? What can I find that is good? That's what manifestation has taught me. If nothing else, if I've never gotten $1 from it, which I have, if I never gotten to see that rainbow, it has taught me to believe in what I don't have yet and, like, kind of see that and, like, strive for it and, like, keep going for it. Right. That's what it's taught me, if nothing else.
But, like, once you see it once, so, like, once you get it once, you're like, oh, it fucking works. Like,
I was going to say that earlier.
Then you notice it everywhere, even if it's a small amount of money, you're like, oh, I didn't, like, do anything to get that.
The girl with the rainbow said that. She was like, if you're new to manifestation, I recommend you not start with, like, relationships or, like, loads of money or something like that. Start with little things, because once you see the little things come, it boosts your ego and boosts like your
ability to be able to do it. Yeah,
to believe. Like, once, I'm sorry, when I saw that rainbow in the fucking sky, it was even before I saw the rainbow. When the guy came in and was like, did you guys see the double? Because it was more like, there could have been a rainbow outside and he didn't have to tell us. Like, we're workers, you know what I mean? Like, it was weird. And also, there hadn't been a rainbow in a really
why
long
would he
time.
tell you that? I wouldn't walk in and be like, hey guys, did you see it?
Did you see the double? My heart was in my, like, I was like, no. Like, it was crazy. Like, I've been waiting for this rainbow for, like, and how long did it take? I would say maybe it was like 4 to 5 days. Yeah. Something like that.
Because here's the thing.
Like, I was, like, shitting bricks. Like, I was like, oh, so I put a rainbow in
right.
Like,
I was going to say, when you see results from, like, small manifestations, you're like, yeah, this is my world.
And it makes
control it.
Yeah, and it makes
reality.
You believe in it, right? So, because at first you're like, okay, like, what is this? But if you make it something small and not something you need, like money or, like, a relationship or whatever, if you make it, like, I believe I will get a free coffee somehow, somewhere. And it's half the time, I'm not joking you, when you get the manifestation, you didn't even realize that it was the manifestation that you got, right?
Yeah, you're
so
like,
a lot of times, like, for example, you could be manifesting a free coffee, because it doesn't always come the way you picture it. You could be manifesting a free coffee, right? And you're like, okay, my friend is maybe going to bring it to me, or, like, whatever, which is part of the reason they tell you not to be so attached to, like, how you're gonna get it, because that, like, you just have to know it's coming. Like, you can't be like, how? But, you know, you might be like, you might picture your friend bringing you a coffee, or you might picture, like, whatever, but then you walk into your office and somebody brought Dunkin' Donuts and, like, free, like, big those coffee things that you, like, dispense the coffee, and you're, like, halfway through drinking coffee before you realize, like, I didn't pay for that. Like, it was free. So it might not come up the way you expected to come up. Again, like, you might be manifesting money and be like, nobody's brought me $100, but you have, like, way more shifts on the schedule. Right. Like, think about that and understand
also,
that.
Like, the fact of, like, when I totaled my car, I thought I was going to owe money. They gave me money. Yeah. And double what my car was even worth. So it was just like, dang.
Like, fuck.
Because that was, like, I was like, how am I going to buy a van? How am I going to do that? Totaled my car, bought a van.
Like,
what? Like, because I was like, there's no way, like, I didn't know how I was going to do that.
It does not always come how you picture it. And once you realize that, you'll stop being attached to, like, how it happens. Here. You're just going to be like, okay, it'll come. It'll come.
I think?
And I think being impatient is the worst thing that you can be, because then you are just driving yourself further away from it. Okay? Like, that's why I'm saying right now, start small. If you have something that you want really bad that you need in life, I totally understand, and I know it sucks and it's hard, but do not try to get whatever you need with manifestation, because that is not going to be your answer first and foremost.
Yeah.
If you want to play with manifestation, literally play with it. Make it lighthearted. Make it not a dire situation where it's like, I need to pay rent this month. Where am I going to get this extra $100 from? Make it something as small as like, I'm gonna get like some ice cream for free, or like one of the same girl that did the rainbow manifestation was talking about one with cookies, and she was like, I wanted to manifest like hot fresh cookies, and it was like in the middle of COVID, so like she couldn't like get like hot fresh cookies, and went to her friend's house that invited her over or something. Halfway through hanging out, like she was like, oh, like I have these cookies I wanted to give to you. She didn't even realize, like, she didn't even put two and two together. They were still warm in the bag. Like, she was specifically manifesting, like, warm cookies. Like, warm cookies. Not just cookies, like, warm cookies. And they were still warm in the bag. And, like, halfway through, like, getting back home and realizing that they were warm, she was like, those are my fucking cookies.
Are coincidences also manifestations?
Yes.
That's like literally.
That's what I'm saying. We are manifesting all the time, like literally all the time. Like, and I know, and even just knowing that helps you to understand that, like, manifestation is not just like, I'm gonna write it down or I'm gonna think about it and it's gonna happen. Like, it is more than that, because we are embodying it all the time. Like, it is just happening. Like, which is why, I'm sorry, but when you're seeing those people that are like going like down those spirals of like, everything around me sucks, and they're just so grouchy all the time, good things don't ever happen to them. There's always something bad. There's always some new thing where they're like, my car broke down, or like, oh, I owe money on this, or oh, my fucking food got like made wrong. I swear it's always a person that has the worst attitude that gets their food wrong every fucking time. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm like, not again. And then they make the worst deal out of it. And like, it's never like a simple thing, you know? So it's like, I don't know. Think about it. I can't believe it's been 40 minutes.
I don't. We could talk about this
it's been 2 fucking seconds. Like,
bro, that's what I'm saying. Time is not moving. Also, what I think is so funny is how simple stuff is literal witchcraft, and people don't realize this.
Oh my
and
God, don't even get me started.
Or like Christians and stuff.
They stole the way they stole Christmas, like Christmas traditions from pagan rituals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Christmas tree is not in the Bible. Christmas is not even in the Bible. You know Christmas is not in the Bible.
The funniest thing to me is...
I'm so sorry.
It's so funny how Christians don't even realize that, like, the smallest things is witchcraft. Like, blowing out your fucking candles on your birthday. Bitch, you're making a wish.
That is witchcraft. That is witchcraft.
Oh, my God. You cannot tell me.
Knocking on wood. Throwing salt over your shoulder.
That's all witch.
Avoiding walking under a ladder, avoiding a black cat. Yeah, that's like kind of fucked up, but also it's
all this
all
little
witchcraft,
and they don't even realize it.
Witchcraft is weird. Like, you're weird. Like, are you a Satanist?
You're doing it once a year when you blow out your fucking candles. You're wishing for something.
I'm sorry. I always see videos like this on TikTok too, where it's like what people think witchcraft is versus what it is. Like. Like, one of them was like, people think I like have like this grid laid out with like a skull in the middle of it, and I'm like levitating. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's just me like looking at a frog and be like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And it's literally me. I'm like, my witchcraft is so like, it's so honestly,
you can kiss a frog and it'll turn into a prince. It's goddamn Disney. Yeah. Like, that's fucking witchcraft.
It's very much like, I feel like my witchcraft is so internal at this point. Like, I do have like a lot of external things that like go with it, but it's internal mostly just because of my time.
Yeah, right? No, it's like, a lot of work. It's a lot of work
to do like the physical like witchcraft. Yeah. So I'll just do a lot of manifestation as my witchcraft. Because I want to say spells are basically just like physical physical versions of manifesting, which makes it easier sometimes to manifest when you can see like shit in front of you, and one thing represents this and another thing represents that. And I love spell work. I think it's amazing and beautiful and like super meditative. I just don't do it a lot because I don't have a lot of time. So I find myself just
because it is a lot of work because
and you're drained
after. Yeah. And it's specific. It's like
so
for
specific.
this spell, you need all red. You need the red candle. You need this kind of herbs. You need this. Like it's colors and it's certain herbs and it's certain things you have. Like if you don't have a whole cabinet of every color candle, every different spice, every different thing, like you're running to the store differently for every spell. Like,
oh my God. But I will say one thing, shit lasts long. I made banishing oil like
that will last
2 fucking years ago when I went through a breakup. I was like, I'm banishing everything. I made banishing powder, and then with the powder I made banishing oil. I still have a fuck ton of the powder, and I have like almost all the oil.
Oh yeah.
And it looks so spooky just sitting on my thing because it's like this like orange like color? Dark oil.
What'd you use
with like matchsticks in it and like I look so funny. But it worked. Like I feel like the banishing powder I just like sprinkle on my windowsill. Usually, like in the summer, I do that, and then like I let it sit, and then whenever it feels like it's just like dried up and old, I like wipe it out and then do a new one. But it's little shit, bro. It's everywhere. You're already doing it. If you're sitting here, which you're probably not, if you're 50 minutes in, but if you're sitting here like rolling your eyes, like this is so stupid. Like you're already manifesting, okay? Like,
like
you're doing it right now.
Oh my God, that's why words are so powerful. It's just like you speak it into fucking existence.
Yeah.
I cannot like say that enough. Like
it's insane. It's insane.
Like when people are, oh my God, when anyone says anything negative and like, like when they're like, I can't think of an example when they're like, oh, this is gonna happen or something. I'm like, stop. You're actually speaking into
I'm always like, don't manifest that for me.
Yeah,
my mom will be like, watch this happen. And I'm like, stop. Like, stop.
No, that's the worst.
You know what's hilarious though?
Don't be around me.
I feel like one of the best. I've never done this, even though I play The Sims a lot. I see always people are like, oh, I made my ex-boyfriend on The Sims and like beat him up on The Sims. Like,
I saw the one where she pulled off her exes in jail.
Or like I made myself in The Sims and I made myself like have a mansion. But I'm like, that is honestly a form of manifestation. Like that could be witchcraft. Like imagine spending time in The Sims, like making yourself to like actually feel like yourself.
You're creating
and then you work hard.
Yeah. What is it?
Like an alternative dimension. Yeah, almost like a different reality. Like you're like, this is what is gonna happen. So that's a form of just like seeing it. And if it's not, it's just therapeutic.
Right.
I'm sorry. Beating your ex's ass in The Sims has to be like so therapeutic. Like put yourself through the whole storyline. Like you fall in love and then you just beat his ass. Like, fuck, that's hilarious. So I don't know.
It was so funny. The one I saw where she made all of her exes and she put them all in different jail cells in The Sims. I was like, hilarious. No way. But it's just like. It kind of bothers me when people are around me and they're like, oh yeah, I don't know, like I don't believe in that, and it's just like, okay, fine, but like don't get it mixed up with my energy.
Yeah. Don't fuck my shit.
Like when you're dating someone and they're like, yeah, I don't believe in that, and you're like, well, I do, so I'm gonna need you to probably like not mix with my energy with it, like because if you believed in it, imagine what we could do. Imagine where we could be.
Magic is insane. Okay. Oh, I thought I was going to talk about this anyway. Manifesting with your orgasms is like the craziest, most like amazing thing that you could ever do. I've never seen something come to fruition more than like manifesting with an orgasm. Because when you're having an orgasm, you're at like the highest fucking vibration. Everything is, I'm sorry, in that moment, if you can tell yourself like money is falling all over me.
Money's falling off of trees.
And you just fucking nut. Like you're gonna get something within the next week. I said don't put a time limit on things, but within the next week, I can almost promise you that you're gonna get something. Like I've had fucking crazy. Okay, regularly I work takeout.
Do you have to say it out loud?
I work takeout. Well, no. But even just like. You don't have to, you can, but like even just like picturing it and like it's the same as like regular manifestation, but just like you're literally coming. Like I work takeout at a restaurant. On average, I make good tips anyway. On average, I make about anywhere from like $70 to $80, maybe on a crazy good night, like $100, right? on a low night, like 40, 50. So it's not always $70, but like regularly on average, like around like $60 to $70. I did that. I was like, I'm going to do money manifestation, but with an orgasm. And I did that literally. It was like the next time I worked takeout, I got $125. Like, and I mean, you could say like that God wasn't from, like, whatever.
No,
I'm sorry. The next couple days was exactly the same. It was like 60 to 70 that night, and it was a weird night too. It wasn't like it was a weekend. Like, it was literally, I think it was like a Wednesday. Like,
yeah.
It was a regular fucking night, and I made like $125. Like, just people were tipping like big. Like, it wasn't even busy. Like, I wasn't even stressed. Like, people were tipping. I was like, and I think I texted you that night and was like, manifest with your orgasms. I was like, I'm telling you right now, like, this is fucking crazy. Like, I've never, like, I just was like, oh, like, for shits and giggles, like, who knows? Like, it might work. I'm telling you right now, like, if.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. And if you're a couple and you both believe in that shit and you both can work
double
it,
the fucking.
imagine. I'm just by myself, but like if I was with somebody and like we like both were like, okay, let's set an intention before we have sex, and then like as we fucking like orgasm, like we just fucking let it out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The shit you could bring into your life, like I feel like it's insane. Like.
Oh
it's almost
God.
like not fair. Like that is like a button that you can fucking hit. Like that's crazy.
That's next level shit. I am literally about to start stuffing bay leaves in my bra. I'm about to start stuffing my bra with bay leaves. You know, I keep bay leaves in my wallet at all times.
Oh my God,
because bay leaves
nice.
are known to attract abundance.
Nice.
So I'm gonna start stuffing my bra at work with them. Just like shoving bay leaves in my
I can't. I remember like during my finals, I put like a rose quartz and a regular quartz and then like a tourmaline in my bra with me. And then I came back from my test and I actually felt really good about my test. And then I was on Instagram scrolling and it was like, it was some kind of meme. I know I screenshotted it. I'm not even going to try to find it right now though. But it was like some kind of meme that was like, you know, when it's retrograde, so she has like some kind of fucking... Like, it was, like, some kind of retrograde or, like, the shit's going down and she has a fucking rose quartz in her bra. And I was like, I've never felt more called out because I literally, like, I think the tourmaline was, like, in between and, like, whatever. But the rose quartz is, like, on my tit, like, as I speak. So I was like, I can't, like, make this shit up. I was like, I need somebody else to see this. So I went to my roommate and I was like, will you read this? And she read it. And I pulled a rose quartz. She was like, oh, my God. I was like, I've never felt more called out in my entire life.
Oh
like,
my
it was so
God.
funny, but yeah.
That shit is so weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's almost like, I'm always like, and I start manifesting for other people too. This girl was super anxious before a test and she was like, oh my God, like, what if I didn't study enough? I was like, well, good thing you already know all the answers. And then she was like, girl, I was like, no, but like you do. Like, good thing you already know the answers.
You know them, right?
Like, we're about to take the test, so like it's good that you know all the answers. Like, I literally
The teacher being like, what, Zoe? What do you...
Literally, I tell everybody, I'm like, I am delusional and I'm happy with it.
Yes, because when you're delusional,
I would love to be delusional.
It's still like, faking it till you make it.
And
like
it still puts me in a better mindset than being anxious.
Yeah.
Because realistically, whether I fail or not, being anxious before a test is not going to help me, right? So even if I start a test and I'm like, good thing I already know all the answers, and I end up failing, at least I didn't like, you know, have a shit attitude and like was sad about it, like, or like anxious about it. You know what I mean? I'm not like sitting here like, oh my God, what if? And I'm like,
yeah.
Good thing I already know the answers. And I'm sorry, but there's not one time that's happened to me where I'm like, well, good thing I already know all the answers and I fail. Yeah. I'm sorry. I say it with my full chest. Like,
all of a sudden you're
like,
taking
I'm
the
the
test.
fucking like.
And you're
I literally
like, wow,
act like
I
made
do.
it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so lucky that I already know all the answers to this test. Like, I'm so lucky that these questions are exactly the things that I've studied.
You have to act like you're the fucking shit, and then you are.
I'm not even gonna lie. I lie to myself so hard. I'll be like, shit, do I know all these?
Yeah.
Like, I'll literally be like, how did I get the answer?
Bro, you ever start convincing yourself?
Like, it's so easy to
start convincing yourself of your own lies, and you're like, wow.
Your brain is so pliable. Start using it. start changing your perspective, start making different neural pathways, because I'm telling you right now, your brain is so much more simple and stupid than you think it is, and not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally
convince yourself of
anything in like the shortest amount of time. Like, I'm telling you right now.
You can be brainwashed of something.
It just takes practice. Like, I'm telling you, every inch of confidence I have right now just comes from the fact that I've just like lied myself into it.
If the government can brainwash you, so can you. You can brainwash yourself.
There's no way it's
not
that.
I know. I'm like, I could keep talking forever.
I know.
I'm like, this wine has me feeling so
I
frothy. I could keep talking. I'm like, what's the next
goodness.
subject? Sea life? Like,
I know. All right, we're talking about the ocean.
Don't, because if I talk about the ocean or space, there's literally
we don't know anything about the ocean. I'm not even getting into it.
And we know like barely as much as the ocean and space. It's like both so vague, it trips me out.